Hello. Welcome on back to my channel. I hope you all are doing well. With us today, I have my beautiful friend Brenda with us, and on her I'm creating a dramatic look consisting of a full coverage base paired with a smoky eye and a nude lip. So without further ado, if you want to learn how I created this look right here, then keep on watching. So to begin, I'm taking the Elemis Superfood Facial Oil and using this to prep Brenda's skin with by massaging this in and allowing it to fully absorb into the skin before applying the foundation. In fact, it's because of how quickly the skin absorbs this that makes it one of my favorite facial oils to use. Besides it being packed with tons of fantastic ingredients that nourish the skin, it's a formula that's very, very thin, because a lot of times I find oils to be kind of heavy and like greasy, you know what I'm saying? But there's something about the way they formulated this that makes the skin look plump and hydrated without weighing it down. Now, once this is done, I'm going to use the Coxir Black Snail Collagen Eye Cream underneath the eyes by applying on just a smidge to the back of my hand before tapping this in. As you can see, it's a very tacky type consistency, so a little does it with this cream. And when I say tacky, by the way, it's not tacky in a bad way. I actually really like it because it adds a nice grip to the skin around the eyes, allowing for the concealer and the powders to grip on without breaking apart or creasing up throughout the day. Now for foundation, I'm using the IT Cosmetics CC Cream Foundation in the shade Light Medium and applying this on with a sponge. I've picked this foundation for Brenda for a few different reasons. She's currently looking for a new foundation. She wants something full coverage that doesn't feel heavy on the skin. And in this case, it's nice that the formula has that added SPF because to give you a little background on Brenda's story here is that she's had a handful of procedures over the years to remove skin cancer, which has left her with some ever so slight scarring. In fact, I've known her for years and I never noticed any scars until she had shared this with me, but it goes to show we are our own biggest critic, and we have concerns that most others would never even notice. So I say all that to say I picked this foundation for her today because it addresses those concerns she has, and I'm curious to hear from her how it holds up and performs throughout the day. Now, once this is blended, I'm taking the Patrick Ta Major Sculpt Cream and Powder Duo and using the cream formula to add some warmth to her face by applying this below the cheekbones, along the jawline, and around the perimeter of the forehead. The shade I'm using here is called She's Sculpted, which I find to be a really great color for her. The cream formula has a slightly cooler tone to it than the powder, which is great because it allows for us to create realistic shadows with the cream, but once we apply the powder later on, it'll change the hue to make it a tad more on the warm side. And of course, once I have this applied on with the brush, I'll go over it once more with our sponge to further blend everything in for that ultimate seamless effect. Once I have this blended in, I'm taking the Natasha Denona Hy-glam Concealer in the shade R3 and applying this to the under eyes to not only conceal any purple or red hues we have, but also to brighten and lift this area of the face. I really want to get that spotlight effect today, and it looks beautiful both on camera and in person. Once I have one under eye blended, I'm going to jump right into using the One Size Translucent Setting Powder to set this concealer into place with a powder puff, really pressing that powder in there to best prevent any creasing of product before moving on to blending and setting the other under eye. If you're someone who has fine lines or possibly more mature skin, I find blending and setting the concealer one eye at a time decreases the chances of creasing because because the time between blending and using powder is cut down. And also too, it really comes down to skin prep. That hydrating, tacky-like eye cream we used earlier is really allowing for us to use the amount of product we're using to get a beautiful finish that'll perform well throughout the day. So now that I've set the under eye and the rest of the face with this powder, I've head back to the pressed bronzer in our cream powder duo to lightly reinforce the cream bronzer we earlier applied, adding a touch of warmth to the skin while also adding a little extra definition. So here, as you see, I'm using the baking technique to sharpen the contours of her cheeks and jawline while also reinforcing the under eye highlights. Of course, if you find that your skin type is too dry for this technique, you can totally skip it. But because I had used that facial oil at the very beginning to hydrate her skin with, I'm pretty confident that this powder won't cause any problems when we come back later to wipe it away. Until then, I'm going to begin on the brows using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Powder Duo in the shade Taupe and use this to little by little build up the brow shape and density. This does take a little bit of patience because it's a lot of back and forth. Even when I do my own brows, it takes forever, but I promise with a light hand and a bit of precision, it pays off. Now that this brow is complete, we can see how beautifully it frames the eye. Brenda's happy with it, which makes me happy with it. So I'm going to complete the other brow off camera to save us a few minutes and then begin on the eyes with this Bobbi Brown Cream Shadow Stick in the shade Bark and applying this right onto the upper lash line. Unlike the brows, this doesn't require much precision at all, which makes the shadow stick really easy to work with. I just glide it on and then diffuse it out with a blending brush. Once this is blended, I'm then taking this shade here from the Makeup by Mario Master Matte's eyeshadow palette, pressing this right on top of that cream shadow before also blending this up and out. You'll even see me in a moment take some of the bronzer we had used earlier to diffuse out the edges, but I've been loving this specific brown eyeshadow lately. I'm even wearing it today on myself in my intro shots. I mean, on Brenda, I'm really packing it on because we're going for a more dramatic look than the one I'm wearing, but whether you wear it bold or sheer, the reddish hue to this brown adds a beautiful warmth that I think looks fantastic with her blue eyes. Now for the lower lid, I smoked out the same reddish brown shade and then took some black shadow through the lash line and then realized I think I smoked it out a little too much, so I fixed it up real quick by taking a powder foundation here to, lift it back up. Listen, it happens. I get carried away sometimes, but it's just makeup, there's nothing we can't fix. So moving right along, I'm using this Urban Decay liquid black eyeliner pen to trace along her upper lash line width for that feline winged effect before I pick up some black eyeshadow onto a brush and connect that wing to the outer corner of the lower lash line. For mascara, I'm using this Benefit They're Real Magnet Mascara and brushing this onto the top and bottom lashes. Of course, this is after I've applied falsies off camera. The falsies I used are from Lily Lashes. I can't quite remember the name of the style, but it's one of their half lashes. Honestly though, their lashes are kind of pricey, so you can pick up a similar pair from the drugstore and it'll only cost you a few dollars. So yeah, okay, moving right along, I'm using these two Dior blushes and popping these onto the cheeks for a hint of color. I love how I go from talking about saving a few dollars on lashes to using not one, but two blushes from Dior. Oh goodness. But different people value different things differently. Like, are these blushes stunning? Yes. Are they ridiculously overpriced? Also, yes. But for me personally, you know, they're worth a splurge because I use them almost every day, and because of that, they're worth every penny. Now for lips, I'm taking this Makeup Forever lip liner in the shade Wherever Walnut and using this to trace the borders of her lips with. I had actually used this a couple weeks ago in a bridal makeup tutorial I posted. I loved it so much that I wanted to use it again today. It's the perfect everyday rosy nude shade that I think looks beautiful on a variety of different skin tones. And it's the perfect liner to use with the gloss we're using today, which is the City Lips Plumping Lip Gloss in the shade Nude. I'm kind of using this to blend the liner in while also giving the lips an overall hint of peachy undertone and a high shine finish. The two colors complement each other really well, and I think this is a lip combo that pairs perfectly whether you use it for an everyday makeup look or something more dramatic and glam like the look we've created today. Now once I have this applied, I'm going to take our D'Alba First Spray Serum to set and lock this makeup into place, making this the final step in how we created this glamorous look on our naturally beautiful model. There we have it, kids. I hope you all enjoyed today's tutorial. If you did, be sure to give this video a big old thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. You can also check out more of my work on my Instagram at Painted by Spencer. And until next time, I'll see you soon.